The Plunge protection team is at it again as stocks have their best performance of 2016. On today's episode, we'll discuss the following: the stock market boom manipulation, the 30-year bonds hitting an all-time record high, and the insanity of Obama's third term. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Let's get into this video right away, beginning with the article out of MarketWatch. U.S. stocks booked a fourth straight daily gain, and the Dow and the S&P marked their best week this year as stocks clawed back some of the losses because of the Brexit. So, what we have here is no different than what we've seen before. The stock markets all fall simultaneously, which should not happen historically, and everything basically takes a nosedive. Why? Well, in this case, happens to be the Brexit. What exactly happened with the Brexit? Nothing. At this point, nothing has actually happened. But there's that talk there that they're going to leave. And then what happened to make the stock market go up? Well, nothing, because nothing's really changed. So these are the manipulations that they're playing, and you can tell that this isn't real investors. A real investor is not going to pull their money out just because they heard that a Brexit was going to happen. The stock markets would not plunge by a few percent in a single day because of a Brexit situation. They're worried about real things. They're worried about the economy. And it wouldn't come back up. They don't sell it, watch it drop, let's say 5%, and then buy it again. It just realistically doesn't happen like that. It's all computer algorithms which do this. That's a different story. So it gets into the details, mentions, oh, look at this company did well, this company did well. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because you have to look at the entire market itself. Why would all markets be affected by a single decision like this to such a degree? Well, it just doesn't seem realistic anymore. All markets prior to the year 2000 did not behave in sync. It wasn't until we got to the year 2000 where everything sort of became in lockstep, couldn't be avoided now. Now it cannot be avoided. All stock markets seem to be moving together. Let's look at this. Here we have U.S. government debt prices were higher on Friday, building on a global bond rally as investors look to release a host of data ahead of the 4th of July weekend. They're worried about all the real numbers. That's what it always comes down to at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, or anytime they're reporting these numbers, they look at it and say, oh, geez, we got some serious mess to deal with right now. So how do we cover it up in the media? The yield on the 30-year treasury was lower, hitting an all-time low. All-time low. How many times have I said that? For this right here, the 10-year treasury sat lower again. You're looking at 1%, the lowest level in 4 years. 1% on your money. Now, it's a lot better than some of these you're getting out of Europe where they're actually into the negative. But realistically, 1% for the average person is not an investment. This is why they don't choose to go this route, and they choose stocks. And they choose more risky investments. They try to get more for their money because the banking system isn't going to provide that for them. They're not going to put their money in the savings account because a savings account is probably going to give you something like 1%. So what's the point? Why bother? I need to take more risk. I need more money. I have more bills. I got to buy more things. And that's just the way this is. The Bank of England Governor Mark Carney said the central bank would probably, follow that word, need to pump more stimulus into Britain's economy over the summer after the shock of last week's decision by voters to leave the EU. When you suggest that you're going to pump more stimulus into the economy, what you're saying, in fact, is print more money and give it to bankers. Every single crisis is another excuse to funnel money away from people, average people, into the hands of the bankers, into the hands of the elite, into the hands of those who control us every single day. People don't see that. They keep pumping their money into stocks saying, look, I'm just trying to make some money. I'm making good money right now. And they go on. But every time you do so, you fund their schemes. You're funding them by keeping your money in the big banks. You're funding them when you keep your money in stocks. But of course, people don't see that. This is a war. And you're not fighting on the right side of that war when you do this. But of course, people, they don't want to be frontline infantry anyway. That's up to them. Clinton stepped down as Secretary of State in 2013 to run for president. But newly released emails from 2012 said that she and the Clinton Foundation consultants shared classified information about how German leadership viewed the prospects for a Greek bailout. Clinton also shared protected State Department information about Greek bonds with her husband at the same time that her son-in-law aimed his hedge fund at Greece. So this was actually a very big deal right here as you're seeing all of this. And the reason why it's a big deal, not because nothing's going to happen to her anyway, but all of these scandals that have been coming out, whether it's Benghazi, whether it's emails, it really shows and highlights all the negative sides of a Clinton. But most people, I would say, don't really care too much because they're just saying, look, it's email, and then they ignore it. Oh, classified info, who cares? It's not for me. What's important is what they say when they get on the teleprompter. That's how Obama got voted in. But I'm just saying here that they're bringing up all this negative side and it's highlighting in a way Trump's side. So keep that in mind. And last but not least, I can't even believe this. A strong majority of Democrats would cancel the 2016 presidential election between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump if it meant that President Obama could serve another term. That's according to a new poll. Another term. There are only 2 terms for a reason, so that you do not have a dictator, so that you do not have a president who could become an emperor. That's why you have 2 terms. If you couldn't get it done in 2 terms, you don't deserve a third. You should have been kicked out after the first. You shouldn't have been included in the first to begin with. But this is how it goes. And people will be subservient. People will lay down on the floor so that their government can walk on top of them. And I see it every single day. I see it on this channel. I see it around the mainstream media. People are just subservient. There's so many knowledgeable people out there. Many of them here. In fact, 99% of them from what I see. But there's this small minority which barks very loudly that really, really worries me, because that's the general consensus around the world. As you see people so subservient, so ignorant to the truth, and that's what I'm here to push the message of truth. Wake up, please. If you found this video informative, give me a thumbs up. Last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you'll find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. If you want to look through the book, head over to Amazon. They have a look inside feature which will allow you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care.